talk about Nicole Ford. I meant to say Judge Cindy Hendrickson. She looked very uncomfortable when she was served. She didn't know what to do. She was uncomfortable. Then she looked over at myself and Ingrid. We were the only two people in the courtroom, Department 65. And she said, I am now making this case confidential. Therefore, I want the two of you here, non-party members, to leave the courtroom. And I just raised my arm up like I was holding a torch. And I said, Cindy Hendrickson, we have a constitutional right to be here in this courtroom. Shame on you. And we got up and walked out.
This is Cindy Hendrickson. She was a prosecutor working for the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office when she was elected to the bench to replace Judge Aaron Persky. And on Friday, she created a constitutional crisis in the family courthouse when she closed a courtroom to the public, to victims' advocates, and to process servers after it was requested by Nicole Ford. Divorce attorney Nicole Ford was representing a woman in that case whose Venmo accounts had been linked to the DA's office, and the court filing now stands to expose how the district attorney and Santa Clara County in general might have some extreme financial vicarious liability based on the fact that they allowed their Venmo accounts of their prosecutors for felony cases and the elected district attorney himself to leave their Venmo accounts open and visible to the public, including exposing children and crime victims in them when they did.
And I remember going to Karen Sinanu and telling her, I want to just do random acts of violence committed by strangers. Because elder fraud, and then I'd done family violence before that, they so often involve family members that are taking advantage of other family members, or friends that are betraying friends.
Nicole Ford, who is sitting here in court on the left, representing a Russian immigrant woman, was known for getting business from the nonprofit Women SV and for sitting on the Domestic Violence Council with Cindy Hendrickson. And Friday's court closure and the documents that were filed before and after the courtroom was closed has created a constitutional crisis because the reporters are now combing through all of the Venmo accounts of the district attorney's office that have been exposed to the public and trying to determine how many crime victims, 49er fans, and grandparents and children have been exposed as a result. And we're going to report on that in our live streams today on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm Julie, and I'm not a process server, and I just served Nicole Ford in the Santa Clara County Family Courthouse, and it was a moment. And I'm here with Ingrid, and she served Judge Cindy Hendrickson. Nicole Ford was very uncomfortable, and I just went right up to her and said, Nicole, these are legal documents, you've been served. And then after
the serving of those documents created such distress for the bad guys that Nicole Ford immediately asked that the courtroom be closed so that the information couldn't get out. And Cindy Hendrickson granted that request before the attorneys for the other side had even come into the case remotely. So what was in those documents that would cause Nicole Ford and Judge Hendrickson to violate the law so blatantly and in front of witnesses? Let's take a listen.
And we're volunteer process servers for Pat Evans. So when you work with Pat Evans, you get volunteer processors. And we came and we served a disqualification document here to Judge Hendrickson. And here is the document that was served to both Nicole Ford, the opposing counsel, and the Judge Hendrickson. Part of this includes exhibits. And as you can see here, this is the declaration. And towards the end, Pat really provided a lot of great exhibits. For example, we have police incident report. So we have incident reports. We have emergency protective orders. We have pictures of Oliva Mendoza.
Oh, the district
and
attorney. Yeah.
The district attorney.
Which one is the district attorney?
The district attorney, Oliva Mendoza.
Yep.
With Nicole Ford's client.
And her name is?
Natalia Kojevnikova. And then we also have Venmo transactions that were made between the DA, Oliva Mendoza, and Natalia Kojevnikova. We also have exhibits including, the website that includes a picture. This is a screenshot of the website for the DA's office and includes a picture of Nicole Ford along with Judge Hendrickson. And this picture, after a while, when questions were raised, was completely taken down by the website. So if you go back into the website, the picture
It's
is
no longer there. Yeah, because Susan did you did a request or something, right? Or you just noticed it, I guess. Right?
No, I asked for comment from the
court.
you
You asked for comment. That's right.
Here are some minutes that prove the relationship between Ford and Hendrickson with different committees and associations and organizations. So we have all that as exhibits. And then we also have, is this the beautiful painting? So we also have a painting that Hendrickson's husband painted that was part of an auction, I believe. And Ford was also part of this whole transaction. And
that was for auction. What was the name of the organization?
Women's SV.
Yeah, Women SV.
Women
yeah.
SV.
And does it say in that declaration that they had read online about Women SV?
Yes. Yes, it does declare that. We also have other exhibits of sample cases, I believe, where a judge actually admitted that she had, I think this was it, admitted that there was a relationship between herself and she recluded herself. Recused herself.
Recused, yeah.
And so we have all that. So lots of great exhibits, very compelling. Pat was great.
And it really shows all the conflicts. I mean, they're just flat.
So many.
They're just in your face, these conflicts between Nicole Ford and Judge Cindy Hendrickson. They're in all these committees together. And Oliva Mendoza, the district attorney, is involved with this, and there's a conflict there. The other part, Nicole's client, and it's alleged, or it appears, that Oliva Mendoza covered up a child abuse case from Nicole Ford's client, Natalia. And it's just really flat on its face. I mean, corruption and conflicts. I mean, it's very easy to understand. It's not complicated at all. Sometimes these cases can be kind of complicated. This one is just like right in your face.
It's so straightforward, so much information, and like you said, anyone that reads this will definitely see the corruption.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
It's so important that as a society, and especially in the criminal justice system, that we root out, not only actual prejudice, which I think is, that's less of a problem, but even the appearance, so that everybody, because it's sort of this insidious effect, if it exists at all, then when a person of color feels that they didn't get a fair shake, it's always going to be in their head, is it because I'm a person of color? So I'm, one thing that's very important for me is to just make sure that, to the extent I can, that I be sensitive to that, and so that if there's ever an opportunity to root out not only obvious actual prejudice, which, like I said, I don't think is such a big problem, but the appearance of it.
Cindy Hendrickson, you're violating our constitutional rights. And it feels really good to say that.
So now, Judge Julie Emity, who didn't want to talk about the lack of fairness in Judge Hendrickson's court when I saw her on the street 2 weeks ago with Judge Pennypacker is facing a constitutional crisis because for 5 years, the courts have allowed judges to issue restraining orders against me, claiming that my reporting on Nicole Ford, Cindy Hendrickson in the DA's office, and victim services was harassing and defamatory. And those are false statements. And these videos and everything that's happened since Friday now prove that. So watch our live streams later today during Super Bowl Sunday.
Julie here. We are volunteer court watchers for Women SV.
And we're here investigating the vicarious liability of Nicole Ford as a minors counsel representing children without malpractice insurance.
Thank you. I'm now leaving because of a civil restraining order that the courts have issued against me, keeping me away from public courthouses and the county buildings. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. So this is the restraining order in action. Nicole Ford has managed to get a restraining order with Casey Halcone. And this morning, that proved exactly why that order is unconstitutional and dangerous. I am being forced to leave the courthouse at Nicole Ford's request, and at Nicole Ford's request, a hearing where she attached a number of supervised visitation reports are attached, and she as minors counsel is not doing the same work, and we're not even sure if she has malpractice insurance, and she's been appointed in over 150 cases. So this is me leaving once I was told that Nicole Ford is in that precious public courthouse, and heaven forbid Susan Bassey be there. Nicole Ford has said in declarations that my reporting and mentioning her name has so terrified her that she has to leave every weekend, go on vacation. She has some kind of diverticulitis that gives her diarrhea and puts her into anxiety, all because of my reporting and posting on social media. So we're going to follow up more on this. I was outside the courthouse interviewing some court watchers who were kicked out of the courthouse at the request of Nicole Ford and granted by Judge Cindy Hendrickson. So there you have it. And we are going to have to address this. Cindy Hendrickson was just served with a disqualification order in a case where she was, and Nicole Ford was a privately paid attorney. And we can see the difference in the work. And there are allegations that Nicole Ford is conspiring with the district attorney's office to get child abusers and domestic violence people out of criminal charges. So I'm going to let it end there, and I got to go. I'll watch for our videos. I know it's Super Bowl this weekend, but I'm going to show you something more interesting than you're going to see in that game.
Maybe no less. And then to make sure that the victim gets compensation, gets some sort of redress. But the victim is not our client. And sometimes victims disagree with us about what a sentence is going to be. And we can't make sentences stiffer in the cases where the victims, want more, and lighter in the cases where the victims are more forgiving. We need to hold the defendant accountable in the way that other similarly situated defendants would be held accountable.